All right, welcome back to the program. I have Eke Ubiji, who is the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Association of Small and Medium Enterprises. Welcome to you, Mr. Ubiji, and thanks for joining us on the program.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nancy.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nancy.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's get started. We're still battling a pandemic. Speak to me about how you and your colleagues have been able to navigate or still navigating this pandemic.
Hello, Nancy.
Yes, can you hear me?
No, I couldn't get your question clearly. The line was wobbling.
Okay, I did ask how you and your colleagues in the small and medium enterprises space are currently navigating the pandemic. How are you all doing?
Okay, thank you very much. The first law of nature is survival. In any situation you find yourself, you try to ensure that you do everything possible to survive it. And that's what we'll be doing in NASME. What do I mean by that? SMEs face huge challenges. Financial, infrastructure, markets, and so on, and regulatory issues, and so on and so forth. But in the area of funding, I can tell you during the COVID, COVID started in Nigeria the first quarter of last year, 2020. Luckily, the government, the federal government in Nigeria came up with a 50 billion naira COVID facility for MSMEs. And I can tell you, our members participated. The money, the 50 billion is not just for NASME members alone. It's also for the organized private sector members in Nigeria. So our members were put through it, and I can authoritatively tell you that about 160 of our members around the country were able to access the facility.
Oh,
that's good. But the other issue about it is that, yeah, if you look at the number of our members, they are so much. So 160 is quite inadequate to address the needs of our members. That's one point. Then second issue is, they said that what they put on record was that members who access 5 million, 10 million, the maximum will be 25 million. I can tell you it didn't come that way. It didn't come that way at all. Some members were accessing 200,000, 500,000, and those who manage at all were able to get 1 million, 1.5 million, 2 million, 2.5 million.
Okay, Mr. Ubiji, if you can hear me, I want to interrogate that further. But let's quickly take a break. And when we come back, I would like to get clarification from you. If you're talking about the COVID-19 loans, that's for MSMEs and households, or you're talking of the SMEs loans for businesses, because they are quite different. But let's quickly take a break. And when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. All right, welcome back. Eke Ubiji is still with me. He's the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Association of Small and Medium Enterprises. He's joining me from Lagos. Mr. Ubiji, just before we went on a break, you were telling me that about 160 members of the association got the COVID loan. Some got as minimal amount, like 200,000. Some got 500,000. I want you to really expatiate on that. If it's the COVID loans meant for SMEs and households that started with a 50 billion naira, now it's over 300 billion naira, or the SMEs fund, which is a different facility from the COVID funds. Mr. Ubiji, are you there?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay.
I can hear you now. Repeat what you said, please.
Okay, I did ask earlier that I want you to differentiate for me what kind of facility your members got, because you did say that some got 200,000, 250, 500,000, some 1 million and co. I just really want to know if it's the COVID-19 loan meant for households and MSMEs that started with 50 billion naira that has been increased so far, or the SMEs loans that is quite different. It's a different facility, but that is for businesses solely, not for individuals.
I'm not hearing you very well. Your side is wobbling, so I could not. Okay. It's not so audible.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear my voice now? Can you hear what I'm saying currently?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm asking, please differentiate for me what kind of facility your members got. Is it COVID-19 loans for household and businesses, or the SMEs facility?
Yeah, a lot of them got the household own, and the remaining ones. It's not specific. It's not just one. No, just as you call them, they got them like that. But what I was saying is that the amount that they were told initially, it didn't come in that way. And when we raised issues and threw the question to NISAL said the money they got from the Central Bank of Nigeria was inadequate. And they cannot break the CBN to get additional funds. So that was why what they did was just to spread what they had, whether for the household, for the SMEs, and so on and so forth, so that I think nobody will say he didn't get something. But the issue of its adequacy was not addressed properly, because somebody looking for, say, 20 million, 25 million, they are giving him 1.5 million. How much can that person, how much can that person do with that? That's the issue. But at the same time, let me add this. You know that I'm sure you must have heard of the MSME Survivor Fund, which is an initiative of this government through the platform of the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. There is a steering committee set up to address that, which a lot of relevant agencies in Nigeria are members. For example, Bank of Industry, Bank of Agriculture, Industrial Training Fund, name them, some financial institute, like, for example, this lady that was the former chairman of the board of First Bank, Mrs. Sawashika, was there also. You know, since he left that position, I don't know if she has been replaced. So a lot of agencies were there looking at what and what that needs to be done. And they've come up with a lot of initiatives. One of them being to ensure that even SMEs have not been registered before. You know, those in the informal sector. Those that have been registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission have been formalized. But those that have not been registered with the CAC are within the informal sector. So this MSME Survivor Fund added it and set up structures around the country, 36 states of the Federation, by creating room for aggregators, focal persons for each state, so that these structures will be used to mobilize non-registered SMEs to become formalized. And they do that through the platform of the Corporate Affairs Commission, which is a good initiative. You understand? And it's at no cost to the SMEs that are being formalized. It's at no cost to them.
Okay. Mr. Ubiji,
yes.
I hope you can hear me now. You've talked about the issue of capital, and from your response, what I can gather is that your association expects at least government to do more in terms of providing capital, perhaps with low interest, to assist MSMEs. Let's go to some other challenges that is being faced, you know, by a small and medium enterprise in Nigeria. Apart from lack of capital or inadequate capital, what other challenges do you and your colleagues face?
Okay, SMEs are facing challenges, really. But one of such is infrastructure. When I say infrastructure, you know, the issue of electricity. Electricity is a lot of SMEs need lights to operate, really. So where you are not, when you don't have steady supply of electricity, what do? You have to find your own way. Maybe by buying your own generator, if you have the resources to buy that, and use it to do your work. But how many SMEs can afford to do that? If you go to the market today, you know how much it will cost you to get a 25 kV or 30 kV or 50 kVA generating set. How many SMEs are in that category that can afford that? That's that. Also, transport infrastructure. When I say transport, I mean road, rail, and so on and so forth. You know how the rail network has been in Nigeria. It's only in recent time that the government took it up. The one of Abuja to Kaduna was started by President Jonathan's government. Is functioning. But you know, there have been rail infrastructure from the colonial times to independence to now. But substantial number of them became moribund. So, but this government have started putting them in order, like Lagos to Ibadan. They're also looking at Lagos to Kano. I think that one is started functioning now. Also trying to see that rail infrastructure is connected up to Maiduguri, so that SMEs in these places and the adjoining rail lines that adjoin the rail lines will be able to carry their products from point A to point B. But that is with regards to this flank I'm talking about, say from Lagos, Kano, talk of Maiduguri. What of from River State? The other time I listened to an interview by the Honorable Minister of Transport, Honorable Rotimi Amechi. He mentioned that before this government leaves office, the issue of the Eastern Rail Line from Port Harcourt up to Maiduguri will be addressed. We are hoping to see that. You know, SMEs are scattered around the country. And if we really want to ensure that they are well connected, that would be very good. Now, seaports. Yeah, we have seaports in the where we have them. Look at Calabar. I'm not sure we are using Calabar very, very well. We are not using Calabar seaport maximally.
Okay. Mr. Ubiji,
are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm getting
So there's so many challenges.
Yes.
Before we even talk of, if you talk of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which SMEs are expected to participate actively in. For God's sake, how do we move products from one country to the other.
Okay,
it's not every product you carry by air.
Mr. Ubiji, let me come in now.
Can you even afford the resources?
Mr. Ubiji, let me come in now.
You understand?
Yes, I get what you're saying. Let me come in now and ask, with these challenges which you have enumerated, how is your association engaging with government? Is government engaging with you guys enough? Are they engaging officials of the government, Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Finance, Central Bank of Nigeria, SMEs? Are they engaging with your association and small businesses enough?
Yeah, thank you very much
Even
for that
CSC,
question.
CSC
NASME
yes.
basically is an advocacy body. And day in, day out, we're advocating, talking to the authorities, either through the committees we work in. The government set up different committees that do one thing or the other on SME. I told you about the MSME Survival Fund. NASME is represented in that committee.
Okay.
NASME is represented in that committee. Even, I'm sure you must have heard of NASBA, National Assembly Business Roundtable. That's also an advocacy platform in the National Assembly for members of the business community.
Okay,
which
the question.
The OPS members utilize very, very well to advocate for good policies that will support the development of the MSME sector. Then there are different committees we belong to here and there, either set up by agencies and ministries.
Okay, Mr. Ubiji, let me come in here again. Let me come in here again. Let me come in here again, and I hope you hear me. Is it just about being in the committees, or you advocating in those committees, or when government wants to set up something or come up with a facility, they call you association, another association? Are you just being invited or bench warming the committee, or you are also seeing the result of the various advocacies which you have been doing? Because if you have been perhaps advocating enough to government, some of those challenges may have been addressed. So is it just about being in the committee or representation in the committee?
Yeah, many times the government invite us, like a lot of the agencies that help to implement government MSME policies. They, like, for example, the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. When they are doing their national council, some of these agencies do their national council meetings once in a year. They do it once in a year. It can last for 2-3 days. They always invite us to present position papers, what to feel that need to be done through their platform.
Okay.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development does that, and so on and so forth. We use such channels to pass our views to the authorities.
Okay, Mr. Ubiji.
Sometimes they even call us direct to give position papers directly, depending on the agency involved.
Okay, let's take a look at your association, and I want to critically dissect it. What sector of the economy is most represented in your association? Your association, what sector is most? Is it those practicing in the agricultural sector, or the processing, or the manufacturing end of it? Speak to me about the sector that is most, that has the highest, ratio in your association.
I hope I got your question properly, because the line is wobbling from your end.
Okay,
if I understood you very well, you are talking of the size of our membership.
The size.
I hope I'm correct.
Yeah, not just the size of your membership.
The makeup of our membership.
Yes, the makeup. Which sector of the MSME sector has the highest ratio in your membership?
Okay. Which sector of the MSME sector has the highest number of members? I can tell you the manufacturing sector is there with all the attendant challenges.
Okay.
The manufacturing, though they may not be huge they may not be of huge manufacturing size, like the Cadbury's of Nigeria, the Guinnesses of Nigeria, no. But they are small-scale manufacturing outfits. For example, within the MSME sector, we have categories. We have the micro, the small, and the medium category. But when we really talk of the sizes, the small, they are there. The manufacturer, the medium, they are there. The micro, yes, they do small manufacturing according to the level of their size.
Okay.
That's that. They are there. Then the service sector is also there. The service sector is there. Then those in agri and the agro processing.
Okay. Okay.
Agriculture and agro processing, they're also there. So that as they get their raw products from the farm, they now process. So they also process it again into raw materials, which other industries can take from.
Okay. Mr. Ubiji, I think we will leave it at that. We'll leave it at that for today. I hope to talk to you soon. Let's continue to look at this critical sector that makes up 50% of Nigeria's GDP. Thank you very much for speaking with us today.
Thank you very much, Nancy.
I've been speaking with Eke Ubiji, who is the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Association of Small and Medium Enterprises. That's the much we can take on today's edition of the program. But please join us again tomorrow. Tomorrow promises to be interesting. Again, so be the best you can be and be the change that you want to see. I'll see you all tomorrow, God willing. I am Nancy.